Hey besties, welcome back to another episode of the byeee Besties podcast. I'm your host Alyssa.
And I'm your host Samira, aka Samski.
Welcome back. We missed you. Today we have a special episode. This one was actually requested in the DMs, and the girlies want to know about our thoughts on, joint accounts and marriage, and, discuss a little bit about the finances and relationship, the finances in marriage and whatnot. So we're going to kind of go back and forth, debate a little bit. I want to pick Samira's brain. She's going to pick mine, and hear what you guys think. Make sure you drop comments. Don't be forgetting. We want to hear your thoughts on our whole discussion for today.
But let's be honest, what's more sensitive than money?
Money is the most sensitive.
Money got people
mad
in jail, fighting,
sad,
all the above,
depressed.
So let's start off. We're gonna start off this series here. Joint bank account, yay or nay? And just kind of, what are your pros? Before I get into what you think, we're going to have a non-biased opinion here. What are the pros of having a joint bank account, and what are the cons?
Okay. I think joint bank account pros are you're in a marriage. You're supposed to spend the rest of your life together. So it's like you have a pot of money. This is our money. Yeah. So we can both see what's going in and out of it. We can both, hold each other responsible, accountable, make sure that we're getting our bills paid for. And then we can even, have money goals. Maybe there's something we want to save up for. And if we are both seeing the same thing, we're both understanding our money together, then I feel like it puts us in a position of power together. It can be really empowering.
So you're saying with joint bank accounts, it's essentially empowering couples to track not only finances, but money goals together, empowers them to be able to track it together. Because the money is joint together.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the cons?
Cons could be feeling like you can't spend your money, or feeling like you're being watched or something, it could be a guy going to spend things, I don't know, buying expensive golf clubs or something, or a girl in her, her spending habits, she'd be on Amazon every day and she don't want to hear her man, or maybe
she making Jeff Bezos rich.
Yeah. Or even if you're making an investment, or maybe you're letting someone borrow a few $1,000s, like a friend or something. And then your man sees that you're doing that. You can't do anything confidentially. I think I just made that word up, but
we make words up here at byeee Besties.
I think that's kind of like the con.
Yeah, for me, I think the pros of a joint bank account is the symbolism of trust and partnership, because the minute your money and finances are together, baby, there's no playing games here. Your money, my money, it's all together. We trust each other. I trust you with my hard-earned money, and you trust me with your hard-earned money, and this is what we have together. So I think it's a true symbolism for partnership. I think the cons for me would be misuse of funds. Yeah. Right? If you are doing things behind my back, this is my hard-earned money too, baby. If you're going and you're swiping the card, and that's not something I feel like is of use and is going to progress us together. I'm not saying, you got to come buy me every purchase you make. But if you're using 80% of the account doing something dumb, I'm gonna have an issue with that. Yeah. I've
actually seen, or not seen, but I've heard of a lot of marriages and stuff that end because of misuse of money, even if it's something like gambling. We've all heard the couple that gets divorced because the man goes and spends all their money, and now they have to move off their house. It could be a really serious thing. So you just gotta hope you're pray if you're doing a joint account.
You want to hear something? Fun fact for y'all. One of the number one leading causes of divorce is money issues.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's probably money and career changes.
Infidelity is the other one.
Oh, of course. Duh.
So with that being said, then, my good sis, are you sharing that bank account with your boo, your bae, your hubby?
I kind of think that when I get married, I want to have 3 accounts. I think I want to have a joint account with my man. We pay our bills from it. We put money into it. We know what's going on. Yep. And then I think we both deserve to have our own separate accounts. Yeah. I don't think there should be secrets, if I ask to see your account or something, or I saw your stuff in the mail, your thing in the mail, that it was a whole problem. But I think you should be able to have your money that you can go and spend on whatever you want, and it gives you your independence, your own power. That's fine, as long as we have the joint account, we have our goals, we're reaching our goals, and we're not we're doing what we need to do. We're paying our bills and we're saving our money goals. We're good here. Do whatever else you want with the excess, and I'll do the same.
I guess, what are your thoughts on women that, okay, there's a lot of times where you see, maybe in movies or just in real life, that women that depend on men for money financially, they depend on men financially, and all of the money are like in possession of the men, right? But they essentially, that account's in their name, but the woman are like an authorized user to the account, right? Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts when that breaks up, if the woman is not essentially stacking up money on the side, maybe being a little, I don't want to say secretive, but she's, having her own pot of money because she relies on him financially. What are your thoughts if maybe she has that account on the side, or if you even think women should do that to begin with?
That's an interesting question. I think that there should be 3 accounts. I think we should all have,
but it might not be ideal. What if she doesn't make any money? How?
So she's supposed to have she's supposed to have a secret account on the side. I would be mad if my man. I'm not gonna lie. I understand. I definitely think women need to protect themselves. I think if your man is the breadwinner and you don't have a job and stuff like that, like at any point he decides to leave you and you're asked out, like I think you need to protect yourself and kind of be set up. But I feel like that's a conversation that should have been had before at the very beginning, so that you could have that other account. Because I would be mad if my man, all of a sudden you have an account that I don't know about. I really wouldn't. That wouldn't sit right with me. I would have preferred if he had a conversation. I would have been like, all right, open your account.
Well, I feel like 100%, if your man's a breadwinner, you're not working, you don't have funds in, make sure you're protected. Because one thing about these men, they'll switch up with you with the quickness, and it'll hit you so fast, you will be out on your ass broke, and he will not even look back. And it's so crazy how they just become so just cruel, different. So at the end of the day, if you got to stack up on the side, I'm a girl's girl. Do what you got to do. Have your money on the side. However, I do believe in terms of joint accounts that it should be 3 accounts. The joint, where majority, probably the bucket goes in there. Maybe it's like 50% or 80% of maybe the salary goes there, or I would say maybe 60, and then you have 40 on your own. And then you guys go ahead and go put that in the one bucket. With that being said, let's say the man, he makes maybe double, triple. How do you feel bills should be split? Is it like evenly? Is it depending on who makes what? What is kind of your take on that?
I think it does kind of depend on who makes what, because if I make 20% of your salary and you expect me to go half
on the mortgage,
it doesn't make don't make any sense. I feel like the man I'm supposed to marry, like the man who's supposed to be my husband, you're supposed to protect and provide. Like, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's still your job to do that. And if I'm coming with what I have and this is all I have, or this is what I have compared to what you do, I'm gonna do my best with what I got. But you gotta understand like the situation at hand and be fair and like be kind-hearted. I want my man to be kind-hearted. I want him to want to take care of his business, and I'm not going to leave him to pay for everything. But yeah, that's my take on it. What you think?
Before I deep dive into this, I just want to let the girlies know it's just important to set clear boundaries, right? Like, I think it's very easy to get lost in the sauce, especially if you're not financially literate or you're not sure what's going on. Like, I'm checking every transaction, right? Like I'm looking, I'm on it. But if you're not constantly like that, and if you have a joint account, you don't even know what he's spending, or vice versa, maybe you guys don't have a shared account and he's the one funding everything. Like, you just don't want to be in a position that you're not protected. So at the end of the day, it's important to like have clear boundaries and clear communication, but also always protect yourself, because at the end of the day, like, you need money to survive.
Yeah.
As for proportionate, that was essentially the next convo here, is moving in together, splitting expenses without splitting hairs, baby cakes.
Oh.
So like the expense sharing models, we kind of dove deep into that. I believe a proportional split depending on how much you make. Like if I make 20%, or maybe I make 10x my man, like I can't expect that person to come exactly 50% on the bills. And this is vice versa.
Yeah.
Ain't no gender roles here. I generally think if I have a partnership with the person, I'm growing together, I'm building a business. Mind you, as I'm building, that partner is there with me. I I believe when you're building something, especially if they're on that come up journey with you, it would be cruel if you're on the come up with them, but when maybe it's you're just like, nah, that's my money. Yeah. I don't want to have that same energy. I think for both ends, both male and female, it has to have that proportional split. But that 50-50 off rip, I said it once, I said it again, it's a dub.
She's not going there.
I'm not going to go into it. We had this combo. I'm not going 50-50 with your ass. Date 1, date 2, honestly, date 100. I'm not doing it. I can't even look at you as a man. And I've said this not once, twice, 3 times. It's my persona, period.
Yeah. I agree with what you said. And I definitely think like it's both sides. If I'm a millionaire and you're not a millionaire, I'm not expecting you to do millionaire things. I'm not expecting you to split my millionaire expenses that I incurred myself. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So, you got to hold it down for the person that's been on the journey with you. And, they going to do what they can do. As long as they're doing what they can do, then we're on good terms.
I guess, what tips do you have for the ladies for financial security in the relationship and outside of the relationship? What can they do, you feel like, in the top of their head to really have that clear communication, but also not like ruffle feathers? Because the minute you start to talk about money in a relationship, it becomes a little bit awkward. So just like, what in your experience maybe you can kind of share and tell the besties?
I think if you're in a relationship and you're not married yet, I feel like it's important to have conversations around money. I would say like early on, like I would say probably before you decide to get into a relationship. I probably wouldn't talk about money on the first date. I'm still trying to get to know you, see if I like your ass.
How much money do you make?
Yeah, like don't be asking the whole money questions, but like once you kind of get to a point where you feel like you want to like move forward with this person, I think even if you're afraid, it's important to have those money conversations and see how they respond. And I think if you guys can get to a point where you can have conversations about money, it will bring you that much closer.
Yep.
So my best advice is just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of money. Like, do your research, like educate yourself, like learn as much as you can to get comfortable with money, because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere, and it's only going to hurt you if you're not comfortable with it.
I think just to piggyback off of that, having that open and clear communication, just like discuss financial expectation, because you don't want to be, in Alyssa's terms, asked out, and just have that expectation. But I think the biggest thing is people sleep on this, having that emergency savings fund too. Because if something happens, right, in a relationship too, like let's say you have a savings, but your partner doesn't have a savings, and you go ahead and fix the entire situation, like you might actually become resentful because you had to pay everything out of pocket. So just like in that whole bucket, like you guys both should have like an emergency saving funds and have that expectation, clear boundaries. So not one person is also pulling more weight than the other, even if it's proportional, but it should still be equal on both ends. At the end of the day, this is a partnership.
Yeah, I think that's important in having those conversations. Do you have an emergency fund? Like, are you saving money? Like, do
you have a budget?
Do you have a budget? At least like, ask the important questions, even if you're scared to ask them, because it will serve you in the long run to know the answers, and it'll serve your partner. Sometimes people they're afraid to talk about money too, but sometimes they need a little guidance, a little push, a little organization. You can help them too.
Yeah. And with that being said, what if there's a child involved? I just had to ask that really quick curveball in terms of joint accounts, but they're not together, like a Joey Chavez situation.
Oh.
How do you feel like those accounts should work?
I think if you have a child together, your account is your account, her account is her account, and
do you guys make an account for the child?
Sure, I think you should.
Okay.
I think a lot of parents don't do that, but I definitely
do people contribute? Do they each contribute to that, or
they should? If they do decide to make I know a lot of people don't do this. I think it's a great idea. I think you should. And I definitely think they should both contribute to the account. Absolutely. Do they contribute the same amount? They might not make the same amount. So no, but I think you contribute as much as you can for your child.
I think whoever's the core child provider and like who's watching them on a daily basis, it shouldn't be completely responsible of contributing to that account. Either mother or father.
But if you're doing joint and you're half and half, then shouldn't it be half and half? No?
I think if it's an account just for them, I would say open a 529 plan. If you guys don't know what that is, just to help them build up for college, help them build for college. Even if you could put $50, $500, $10, whatever, you go ahead and put that monthly for them. It's going to grow an investment account. When they turn 18, they go to college, they can have those funds. But just to put mindlessly in a savings account, I wouldn't recommend that. But man, she need that money. Run her bread because she needs that coins to take care of your child because you couldn't wear a condom.
Okay, but hold on. Rewind though. Rewind because you jumped to the expectation that she was taking care of the child and he wasn't. So he needed to run her the money. But what I had said prior was, what if they're half and half? What if he's showing up as a dad just as much as you should?
So they're both present in the house. In the house?
They don't have to be in the same house. They could have separate houses, but literally half the time he has the child.
You
half the time she has the child.
It could never be half. There's 7 days in a week. It
can
never be half. One day is even with.
But even if you alternate, even if it's 4 days and 3 days and then 3 days and 4 days, like that's still, you still have a plan where you're relatively half and half. I feel like if the father is showing up and taking care of the child, like, I'm talking about taking care, like not just food. I'm talking about you buying clothes, like you got everything for him or her, like you're taking care of your business.
Taking care is you're picking them up to and from school.
Everything.
You're dropping them to activities.
Everything.
You're feeding them. You're putting them to bed. They went ahead and fell on the curb over there. They need a boo-boo and they need to put a Band-Aid on there. That is taking care from every second.
Yes.
Not, I have a nanny gonna drop you off, this.
No.
Taking care.
I'm talking about literally like half and half. Because I'm just saying, because you were like,
then if that's the case, they need to open up a 529 plan for their child.
They definitely do.
And then they can go ahead and invest the money so their child has money when they turn 18 or 21. They can use that for college.
Okay, let me ask you this. If they are half and half, like I said, and he's showing up fully as he should, do you still think he should send her money? Or do you think she should send him money?
The issue with this is if one has a lifestyle that's maybe greater, and this is why courts sometimes, like for instance, like why Future, all these people, they have to pay X amount, because if your lifestyle is one certain way, and then let's say, like you said, they alternated days, so one day he's in a mansion and the next day he's in a slump, does that make sense in the environment and the upbringing for a child? It needs to be equivalent from Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday. They need to have that same equivalent lifestyle, and that's kind of how the courts decide how much they should give. It's based off of that person's salary. So if you're making big bucks, baby, you need to make sure your child is receiving that 365 days of the year, not the half the time he's with you.
That's a good take.
And if you're a parent, you're gonna want that for your child. Not even if maybe you lost love or you're not with the baby moms or your ex-wife or whatever the case may be, you want the best for your child whether he's with or without you.
Absolutely. That's fair. That's fair. I'm happy you brought up that, that piece around the lifestyle. So, hey, you answered. I'm happy you brought up the lifestyle piece and kind of like,
no, but I think that's a lot of the issues. You see somebody like, a lot of people, they feel like they're winning baby mama cases in court. They're like, yeah, I'm not paying this, or like Future got away. I don't remember the exact amount. Maybe it was like 800. I'm like, that really makes no sense. You're living in a mansion, but your baby mom she's about to get evicted at her apartment. Does that make you feel good?
Yeah.
Like for me, it's not even about like, this is the responsibility that you had. Maybe you don't like this person, but you don't even love your kid enough to make sure they have a roof over their head.
I think that's foul.
I can't even look at you as a man. Like that's come on now. Like you did the deed, baby. It's time to pay up. And vice versa. If the mother's making big bucks and the father's not making the money, maybe he's a truck driver, I don't know. Whatever he's doing, he's not making equivalent to you. The mother needs to show up with that same energy. And most women, not all, but most women, like they like the love of a woman and child is so much greater. They do want to give their children their child they're all, everything. But there is the few that they don't, so that expectation, I'm not just talking to men. Like if women out here tricking and just leaving out their kids, this goes for you as well.
Yeah.
Same energy here, babes.
Okay. Now I have clarity. I was like, let me see what my sis is thinking over here.
Yeah. It's a tricky conversation when it comes to money and in finances and relationships, but it's an important conversation. Like you said, money is not going anywhere. You need to be clear, be direct. Do not be afraid to have the conversation. Having financial independence as a woman and men is important, but it's also important as a unit for y'all to come together and just, y'all can take the money on together. And if he's having issues or she's having issues, maybe that's not your boo.
Yeah. I agree.
And as you know, we may stir the pot.
It's going to get hot.
But trust.
You just hit the jackpot, okay?
Make sure y'all tap in, like, subscribe every Friday. Comment, leave some stars. We love you.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.